Tristan, how you feel? You want to start diving in?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could go ahead and start off.
Cool. So, welcome everyone to Rise of Scene. Really excited to have you all for a multifaceted event tonight. I am Malcolm Ruffin, co-founder of Scene, and in my day job, I'm head of athlete content strategy at CAA. But Scene has always been a big passion project of mine, and we're excited to be able to share the organization with you all and dive in a bit deeper today.
Yeah, and hey everyone, Tristan Mitchell. I work at GMR Marketing. I'm the account director over there, and I run the New York office for our client consulting and services practice. So definitely happy everyone could join us today, and really happy to share what we've been working on these last couple of months. So in terms of our agenda, first we're going to quickly go through the story of Scene. How did we get here? It's been a long journey, a bit of an evolution, so I want to walk you guys through that, and so you could get a better understanding of what we stand for. Then we have an interview with two great guest speakers, Joe Branch, Assistant GM from the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Morgan Cato, Senior Director of League Operations at the NBA. And then after that, we'll go into our speed networking session. So we understand that since there's three different parts to today's event, if networking is not what you're interested in, feel free to jump off after we finish up with our interviews with Joe and Morgan.
Awesome. So just to get us all on the same page, Scene or Sports and Entertainment Equity Network is a DEI-driven 501c3 nonprofit. It took us, I think, want to just pause for a second to say that again, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. It was a big step in our evolution to make that decision. And we are really focused on closing the diversity, equity, and inclusion gap prevalent in the business of sports and entertainment. I think a lot of us here today know that there's often people of color on the courts and fields and on your screens and in your AirPods, but on the business side, there isn't that representation. And so our goal is to be the premier organization to support Black and Brown professionals in the sports and entertainment industry.
And so building upon that, the fact, since we are 501c3 nonprofit now, we wanted to focus on how do we really focus on our vision through everything we do. And that's really through three strategic pillars. The first one is advancement. So as members of this community, we are really focused on helping to empower our members, both personally and professionally, through a variety of programming that we put on. Next is community building. This is really the bedrock of what we stand for. From the very beginning, and we'll get into our history, as sports industry influencers, we were really built upon bringing good people together, people who work in sports and entertainment, and trying to bring people together to fellowship, learn about different parts of the industry that they weren't necessarily aware of before, and build lasting relationships. So that's extremely important. And then finally, giving back. At the end of the day, any one of us who are in the industry right now, we're blessed to be in the position that we are. And for almost all of us, I'm sure there's somebody ahead of you that imparted some type of wisdom, opened up a door for you, gave you opportunities that you might not necessarily have had. And so we think it's very, very important that we give back to the next generation of leaders in sports and entertainment as well.
Perfect. I think you've probably heard the word sports industry influencers. And for some of you all, this is your first event with us. And so we wanted to rewind a little bit and take you back to the beginning. We actually started in September 24th of 2015. And it's actually funny. We began by accident, very much grassroots. We just wanted to bring together good people in the industry, people of color, allies, and just create a space to build that community that Tristan was talking about. Because for us in the industry, we know that schedules are crazy, travel's crazy, and you can very easily go 6-9 months without seeing very close friends of yours. And so one day we just I was actually talking to Joe Branch, who is our guest tonight, and I was trying to meet up with him. I would see him at NBA All-Star Weekend in Chicago or Charlotte or wherever we were, and I would see him at NBA Combine, everywhere except for New York City. And so we decided to put together a quick happy hour. Sam Permute, who's the Asian Iraq Nation, it was on that first meeting, and we had about people. It was such a great time together and just laughs and authentic relationship building. We decided to do it again. And then 20 people came out, 30, 40, 50 people, and we just continued to grow. And so eventually we took on this name of Sports Industry Influencers. We've put on more than 30 events over the course of the last 5 years with over 1,500 attendees at those events. And so we've actually always aligned ourselves with community building and panels on the advancement side. We've done a lot of different programming, but today and kind of this next period really marks a big step in our evolution, which Tristan will talk a bit more about.
And so as sports industry influencers, a lot of people that we have on right now, we actually built a great community, and a lot of friendships were built as well, a lot of connections and friendships. So then why change, right? So we had something that we felt was successful. We did many events, over 30 events, had great panels, great experiences, bringing people out to different sports events and actually allowing them to see behind the scenes. How do these different events, who is putting all the hard work to put on these events for us, right? But then we really decided that what is our focus? And we really are focused on how do we close the DEI gap in sports and entertainment. And so we figured out there are a couple of changes that we could make to best position ourselves to do so. First, we wanted to change our name. Sports Industry Influencers was great, but we also felt in a way that it was slightly limiting in the sense that we've always seen ourselves at the intersection of sports, entertainment, media, and technology. And so how can we touch upon all these different areas and have a name that reflects that? So Sports and Entertainment Equity Network, we felt was a great fit. Next, how can we really create the largest impact that we can? And we felt that looking at different business models, that a 501c3 would be the structure for our organization that will allow us to create the most impact. And why is that? We're not here to make money. We have a great leadership team. We're going to touch upon them later. But everybody who works on scene, who puts hours and hours of work in, it's because everybody truly believes in the vision and really wants to see a more diverse industry across the board. So more people who look like us from the bottom all the way to the top. And so that is something that is really important. And so the nonprofit structure allows us to really focus on if we do make money and when we do make money, all that money is going back into the organization, which will allow us to move forward further ahead towards our goal. Finally, we want to scale our impact. And so we have historically operated in the New York area, and we've had, we feel like we've grown a great community and have a strong presence here. But if we're really going to work towards closing the DI gap within the industry, that's a nationwide problem. So how can we reach across the entire United States, reach out to folks who might not necessarily have the opportunity to be in a networking hub like in New York or LA? How can we connect everybody together so that we could work together to try to start closing this gap? And we felt that by restructuring ourselves into scene within a nonprofit model, that would give us the best chance to do so.
Absolutely. And I think the last piece that kind of ties into this is the last 2 years, I was actually away at business school at Harvard, and it really opened my mind to what we could do with Scene. And I had always thought about this being a side passion project and, just something that I was kind of doing on the side. And Tristan, to his credit, he always saw the big picture. And I think it helped me to realize, no, this is an endeavor. We can really do a lot of good, and we can make a wide impact. And we need to take that next step to become seen and to become a nonprofit to do that. And so I think even though we are taking this next step, we're really fortunate to be taking you all with us. We still have our community of 900 plus members, and we have established a wide, diverse group of Black and brown professionals, but also allies. and people that are aligned with us for this cause of closing the gap in diversity, equity, inclusion. We have members from all stages in their career, early career, VP, SVP, across the spectrum, and we're increasingly growing to be a national community. And within that, we have members from every major sports league, a bunch of teams, a ton of agencies, brands, media, tech, and the intersection of culture, entertainment that Tristan was speaking on. And that group of, that eclectic group and group of so many shared backgrounds is really our foundation. And that's our number one value from a leadership standpoint. Our number one value is keeping the community first. So we wouldn't be here without this community. And we really appreciate you all coming along with us on this journey.
What makes Scene different? We really spend a lot of time trying to figure out, there are a lot of organizations operating in this space, and it's great. Every one of them is needed so that we could grow the pie. And so there's more opportunity from top to bottom. But we spend a lot of time looking inward and trying to figure out, if somebody were to come to Scene, what's really different about it? And the first and foremost, is authentic relationship building. Relationships. This organization is built on relationships. The industry is built on relationships. And part of the reason, as when Mel was telling the story of the sports industry influencers, the reason it was able to grow and we're able to have so many events and have so many people come out is because when people came out, they're able to make great connections with great people. And we think that's really, really important. I'm sure most everybody on here has been to miscellaneous networking events. It could end up being very transactional, right? You see a couple of card sharks out there, people eyes darting around, trying to figure out, who do I need to know? Who do I need to talk to? That's not what we're here for. We're here to connect people who are really interested in giving back. People who are interested in building strong, healthy relationships. And we really feel like that is the bedrock of what we stand for. And what's interesting, by creating a space where those people can come and interact, we've often found that there's almost 1 degree of separation between a lot of people at our event. And so it almost feels like a family in a sense, because you might not know this person, but you ask them, do you know XYZ? And more than likely, you guys know 1 or 2 people in common. So we feel like that's great. Next is the crossover between sports and entertainment. Industry lines are increasingly becoming blended, right? And as I mentioned before, we've always viewed our North Star as being culture, right? And the different spokes of that, how does that relate to sports, entertainment, technology, and tech, right? And how do we operate within this space and bring a lot of the folks who are dealing with the same DEI issues in all of these different areas? How do we bring them together, and how can we have a shared conversation with people, like-minded individuals? That's one thing that we really focus on. Another area that is extremely important is allies and advocates, right? So if we're really going to try to change an industry and make it more diverse and equitable, and make sure that folks who are in the position, once they're at a company, not only do these companies have diversity, but you're able to include them within your organization, the only way we could do that is with allies and advocates. And we have found that these are an extremely important member of our community, and having allies and advocates within our community really allow us to build a more inclusive community, which at the end of the day benefits everybody. We have a great team that puts a lot of work into all the work that we do, a lot of work that isn't seen. And because of the breadth of experience that we have throughout the industry, I feel like that provides us with a stronger end product. And so having a great team from across the industry with multiple perspectives and backgrounds, we feel like allows us to bring together programming that could touch many different aspects of the industry and individuals. And hopefully that allows us to grow our tent and bring more people in.
For sure. So now it comes back to you all. As we said, we wouldn't be here without you all, and we're going to need your help to help us move forward. And so there are a few key ways in which you can get involved right away. So the number one, the first thing is visit scenetogether.org. I believe a team member might be dropping that link in the chat soon, but it's Tristan and I put in just a few hours of building out this site, and we feel like it's a great resource for how you can get involved. We have the mailing list, so you can stay informed with events, opportunities. We have a space to volunteer. That's where you can sign up to be a mentor or potentially speak to students and various forms of giving back. And then there's also ways to contribute financially, whether that be from yourself, your company, and others. And so I think everything that we have and a ton more information is on the SeenTogether.org website. The second piece, which is really critical, is spreading the word. We've only grown organically. We've been referral based, and that's how we've really ensured the quality of our community, is by having our current members share with other people that they know can benefit and need this support and need these resources. So we really encourage you to share our website, share events with your networks, share with your mentees, share with your mentors, forward it to your employee resource groups, right? And I think some of our members have even taken the step of informing executives. And that's been a really helpful way for us to get that buy-in and spark some really interesting conversations around partnership, programming, and just spreading the word of SEEN. Lastly, you can follow us on social media. We have our Instagram, which is run by Josh and Camille. So if you see anything that's colorful, it's because Josh is running point. But no, we have our Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our YouTube are all there. And we really try to reflect on our social media the personality that we have as a community, right? We don't want to be super buttoned up. We all, and this is what Tristan was talking about authentic relationship building. We all have to cover at work, and we all feel that exhaustion. And so you shouldn't have to bring that to SEEN event and to our social and your interactions with us. And so we just want that kind of feel to permeate throughout everything that you touch in relation to SEEN. And your involvement and your amplification of our work is going to be huge and towards helping us grow.
So what's next? So we walked you through our journey, and so now we're here, right? And so what can you expect to see from us these next couple months? So folks who are familiar with the work we've done before, in the next couple months, you guys will see expanded programming across all three of our pillars, from advancements to community building to giving back. When we decided to shift and evolve into SEEN, we really went back to the drawing board and try to figure out how can we bring new programming to the table that our goal is every time one of you guys come out to attend our events, we want you to walk away with something, whether that's a relationship, a piece of knowledge, or being able to positively impact another life. That is the goal. And so we want to provide you with unique ways to do that, right? Time is precious. Everybody's busy, and we appreciate y'all time. So we want to make sure that our program gives you an opportunity to take some value from it. National growth, we've talked about this before. Rare you can find silver linings in the crazy times that we're in right now, but one of the silver linings is that because we're digital and we've traditionally been so focused on New York events, now we have a chance to look nationwide and try to figure out how do we bring some of our brothers and sisters across the United States into the fold. So that's something you will increasingly see these next couple months. And then new partnerships. We have some really cool ones in the chamber, and we'll be announcing those really soon. Mel's about to jump into one right now, but we have a couple of really special partnerships that we feel like, one, are just exciting just so that we get a chance to learn from executives in the space and people who've done it and been successful, but then also for you guys, give you opportunities to grow and be exposed to different opportunities that you might not necessarily come across every day.
Absolutely. So with that, we are excited to announce one of the first big initiatives that we're starting as SEEN. We're going to be launching our SEEN Next Gen program. And so this is going to be a mentorship program for early career professionals in the industry. And this is meant to, I think, for myself, for Tristan, for a lot of our leadership team, we've all felt that kind of feeling of stagnation around that 3 to 5 year mark. And it's really hard in this industry to kind of get over that hump. And it's especially hard when you don't necessarily always have the support and advocacy or even sponsorship as some of our colleagues may have in the industry. And so we're trying to bring that to our community ourselves. And so through the Scene Next Gen program, we'll pair early career professionals with at least one, or hoping for two mentors. It can be a person of color or an ally to help them along that career journey and align them with their personalities, their background, their interests, and really help them along that path. And again, build a authentic relationship. This program will have a few elements that we feel are really special. One is that we also want to build a community across. So you're not only going to receive that mentorship, but you're going to have a cohort of mentees with you that now are going to be resources, support systems, and also extending your network into new spaces. We're also going to have some complementary programming and development opportunities around this. So much more to come. I don't want to dive. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm excited about the program. But I think that this is just one of those many exciting new initiatives and partnerships that Tristan mentioned.
And finally, before we jump into our interview, it would be a missed opportunity if I didn't give a shout out to the entire team. These guys have to deal with me and Mel for hours and hours, and it is beyond a pleasure to work with each and every one of these folks. So definitely not enough time to do each and every one of these folks justice, but wanted to quickly shout them out. And in the coming months, you guys will get to know a little bit more about them too as we start pushing out more content on our social channels. So we have Abby, Katie, AB, Adrian, Camille, Josh, Sam, AJ, Andrew, Mel, obviously, Kellen, Hendrick, and Trinity. Just an amazing team. Words don't do them justice, and appreciate each and every one of you guys. And this is really the engine that keeps Scene going. And you guys will get to meet them and learn more about them in these coming months.
Yeah. Many of you will meet them in the networking session to come. And you can probably see on the left that, we really do enjoy working together, and it's really become a family. And I think that's 100% necessary because, we're giving back and volunteering to do this, but wanted to really shout everyone out, and hopefully you guys can get to know all of our team members in the coming weeks ahead. But with that, I know a lot of you are here for our big talk with Morgan Cato and Joe Branch. We did film this in advance. Morgan is on the line, but Joe is assistant general manager of the team with the #1 pick in the NBA draft. And so he's a bit busy. And so we went ahead and locked this interview in advance. But to do a quick, actually, we'll just go straight into it because I believe that we do some intros on the video. So with that, Adrian, you want to take over?
Sure thing.